I want you, Mr. CFO, to be the smartest person in the organization. I want you to help me, the CEO, to understand better what happened, but even most important, to help me to predict, right? To understand where am I going, what I'm doing wrong. How can I do something today that will help me to do better in the next quarter or the next year?
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Lomitech, and sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and Birthright Excel. Hello and welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Today I'm talking with Didi Gurfinkel, the co-founder and CEO of DataRails. Didi was previously the general manager at Cisco and has extensive senior management experience with a focus on growth and innovation. He holds a B.Sc in economics and computer science and an MBA. DataRails is the leading FP&A solution for Excel users. The cloud-based platform automates the process of consolidating and analyzing financial data while allowing users to stay in Excel. Founded in 2015, DataRails is based in Tel Aviv, Israel. Really the wave of technology and how it's impacting different verticals of our lives or companies' lives and decision-making in general, I think it's a phenomenal question, taking the human in the loop who are used to making decisions based on various tool sets that they've been given, and how do we leverage technology in all its ways to change that decision-making process. I think is just fascinating, and obviously you're at the forefront of that on the fintech side, on the FP&A side, within companies, and leveraging data and technology to do exactly just that with one of Israel's leading fintech and data startups, DataRails. So thank you very much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. Actually, it's very interesting, the point that you just raised. If you look at the typical organization, or you look at the different departments or verticals in organizations, so you will see that most of the departments, if you go to the sales, marketing, HR, there are, I think, most of, if not all of the departments and the use cases are managed in cloud-based application, right? You won't find the VP sales of medium-sized companies that run the sales in Excel or in even not in Monday. They have a specific SaaS solution for each vertical. But if you go to the financial department, you will see a lot of manual work based on Excel. And this is not because there aren't any available solution in the market. Okay, there are solutions in the market for FP&A and for month's close and for financial reporting, but still the majority, and I say majority is 85-90% of the companies still use Excel-based processes to run their financials. And I believe that the answer for this question, this is it's the key, or to understand, first of all, to understand what we do in DataRails, the product market fit that we have. And also, I think it's the key to understand how is it possible to penetrate this market and get successful in this for the CFO, the office of the CFO. And I believe it should start with understanding the role of a spreadsheet or Excel. I can use the same, it doesn't matter, a spreadsheet tool in the life of a finance person. And here, I think this is an understanding that when I started the company, it was 7 years ago. I worked in Cisco. I was a GM. I ran a large business unit. And I was so surprised and amazed to see the amount of processes and how Cisco rely on Excel. And it, of course, not because of a lack of a budget, right? Or manpower. It's about the the magic or the advantage that Excel brings to the users that no other solution actually provide. And it starts from flexibility, independency, familiarity. And for financial people, and think this is the basic for what we are doing. For finance people, Excel is kind of even operation system. Or I can say that it's like the canvas for for them to create, right? To take ideas, to take models that they try to implement. They open Excel and they start to innovate, right? Start to say, okay, I will take this, we'll take that. Let's see if in this angle, and then they can actually comply to their most important role in the organization, which is I want you, Mr. CFO, to be the smartest person in the organization. I
Right.
don't want you just to count numbers to make sure this is obvious that everything should be in order and everything to be to know what are the actuals. I want you to help me, the CEO, to understand better what happened, but even most important, to help me to predict, right? To understand where am I going, what I'm doing wrong, how can I do something today that will help me to do better in the next quarter or the next year.
So just to clarify, because you made an important distinction here that unlike a lot of SaaS products that different teams within a company may use, which are more feature based and they're a part of a larger network of tools at their disposal. Here you're saying, well, we have to give respect to spreadsheet or Excel as an operating system. It's not a feature to be replaced. It's a canvas of innovation and opportunity where every team can now create with their own sets of tools within this canvas, and that's why it's a different type of beast, right? Understanding how to modify their habits, because once you take them out of Excel, it's very difficult to match the operating system capabilities of what Excel has built.
Exactly, exactly. And this is why in DataRails, the product market fit that we found is that we do not try to take the CFO and the financial people out of Excel. What we are trying to do and what we do is to keep the flexibility, the familiarity, keep the Excel as the front end, as the tool that they actually interact with the system, but to build a full automation around Excel. This automation actually generates a database that injected to the Excel. So the Excel is connected to the database. So they keep seeing, using, smelling, feeling Excel, but this Excel sits on top of a database. So they get the full automation, they get powerful analytics, all the drill down capabilities, slice and dice, variance, all these capability analytics that in database is almost a commodity, but in Excel is very complex and tedious. And on top of that, because it's a database and cloud-based, we provide also collaboration with the web-based dashboard and the visualization. So they actually get a full product with automation, analytics, and visualization. But the core is Excel. And not only Excel, their existing Excel. We do not replace start to build your report from scratch. We use the same report, the same models, all these. If you look at programmers, okay, they have the IDE, right? And then build develop code, and then they have product. Okay. If you look financial people, they have the Excel. Okay, it's similar to the IDE. They have the Excel. On the Excel, that actually programming, right? They adding more and more models, and the results is their financial
Right.
reports. So what we do, we actually keep the Excel as the IDE. We keep all the code, okay, the programming that they already invested years of years. We maintain, we keep these assets, but we add the automation and the database behind this. And this is actually, we found a different angle to the market that actually exploded. We are with this product market fit. In 2 years, we got to a number that broke any benchmark in the market in terms of growth, number of customers, revenue. There is no even someone in this area that even close to these numbers.
Take me back a little bit to those 5 years of searching for that product market fit, because you mentioned the company's has been around for about 7 years, and obviously you have a lot of, you have a lot of journey behind you, and this understanding of what Excel is for operating systems. Because I think that the traditional person may come in and say, yes, of course, Excel is, it's old news. We have new technologies. Let's disrupt their environment and let's build a whole new set of tools for them, and let's forget about this old application that has been around from the 90s. But you're saying that's actually not the right way of thinking about this.
Yes. When we started, we knew for sure, and this is a fact that we relied on, that Excel is not a temporary solution, and Excel is here to stay, and the 1 billion Excel users will not go anywhere. Okay, this is an assumption. By the way, I met with many VCs that said, look, Excel belong to the past. Don't talk to me about Excel. Fair enough. I believed differently. And then we actually had the feeling that, okay, we sit on top of oil, okay, or before a treasure. 1 billion users of Excel with many, many, many problems and challenges. It's almost obvious. Excel hell, okay? But we try to find a way to build a business, to find a use case, to find a specific problem to solve. So we started by building the technology. Okay, it's very Israeli way to build a company, a technology product, and then find the market. So we start from the technology, and we built a platform that knows how to take semi-structured data from Excel, okay, and transform it into structured database. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a super interesting technology because also no one actually invested any manpower and brain power in this area. Understand Excel. Just an example. Okay. Think about it. If you do a Google search, okay, how many blue fish in the Middle Sea? Okay. If someone actually wrote an article, okay, with this information, you will get it in a second, right? But if someone made a research, okay, and prepare a spreadsheet, fish, sea, color, a table very organized, and it's published in the internet. Google will not be able to give you the answer. Why? Because it's what we call semi-structured. Okay. And this is where we understood that there is a gap, okay, from the technology perspective, there is a gap. Let's first close this gap. Take semi-structure and organize it in a structured database.
Which we have not trivial on its own. It's a huge technological feat that many amazing researchers are working on, right?
Exactly. We succeeded, and we have 3 patents registered on this technology, and it's super impressive. With this technology, at the beginning, we tried to sell it to large organizations that rely on Excel, banks, insurance companies, financial institutions. And the pitch or the value was control your data. Take all your semi-structured data, your flat Excel files, organize it in a centralized cloud-based database, and then you have full control, data integrity, version control. Nice pitch, even value, but it wasn't, focus, vertical. What is the problem that you solve? Data integrity is
Right.
nice. So, and then we played around different use cases. We tried to sell it to VCs to manage their portfolio, private equities, different. And then from the customer base, we have like 10, 15 customers that half of them actually use it for consolidation. And then we understood that the consolidation and financial people in consolidation, it's a challenge. It's time consuming. It's the reason for all their manual processes. So we shifted the go-to-market. We didn't change the platform at all. We just shifted the go-to-market to the FP&A vertical, companies between 50 to 500 employees. This is our target market. And then, and we started with the same platform, and we brought customers, FP&A people with the FP&A background to
Right.
for the customer success role. And then once we did this pivot and we started to sell this product, these people, the product market fit hits like an explosion. It's
So if we're looking high level at the problems that financial planners within organizations are dealing with, what are some questions that DataRails helps them answer in their day-to-day? How would you think through the impact that this has on organizations that are leveraging it?
Actually, the questions, and are very simple and repetitive questions. What happened last period? Okay, what happened? Comparing to the previous, what happened that unique to this month? Okay, this is and second, how my actuals, how the facts that I just realized for the last period, how this affects my next period, my next quarter, my next year. This is what the financial people needs to answer months over months, months over months.
Right. And so these repetitive questions, if we're looking back at the way that Excel was before and the consolidation, the enrichments that DataRails provides, so how do you describe that? The before and after. So how do they answer these questions today?
So before, first of all, this process of collecting the data, preparing the data, and getting the results, it's a process of a few weeks. So usually they run it once in a quarter, okay? And then by the end of the quarter, it's take almost a month to get to the results. So you get the understanding of the previous quarter at the end of the
right.
The next
And
quarter.
that goes back to this question of how do you take semi-structured data and you make sense of it in an automated way, right? That really is the slice that we're looking at.
Exactly. Once you automate this consolidation process, and you can do it even on a daily basis because it's automated. So you don't need to wait. So you have this data available, not just for to see the data, but also to analyze it. So every week, every day, you can analyze the data, compare it to the previous data, previous week, previous months, and it sits on top of your insights in a continuous way. So it's a huge change in the value that the CFO can actually provide to the CEO and to the board.
Mm-hmm. Now, is DataRails you go in and it's very much branded an FP&A, a tool for FP&A, is a fintech company, if you will. Is it a fintech company or is it a data company? Because
no, it's not a fintech. Usually, fintech is I think the wrong terminology. Fintech usually payment. So it's a software solution company. It's not a fintech. So yes,
software, and it's because it sounds to me that the technology behind it, and I'm starting to think about, the different implications of the technology you're building here. It has virtues beyond just a tool for FP&As. It has, I can think of many different use cases where this would be relevant.
100%. First, there is a term called XP&A. Okay, this is invented by Gartner. XP&A, which is actually every manager in the organization need to run planning, right? And if you replace the word dollar with leads, so the VP marketing actually is. So of course, this tool can help you to run planning for every department. The focus in the office of the CFO is important from different first, because you need to focus, go to market, you need to focus, and it's important to talk the talk, to talk the language, to know who are you talking with it, and this is what. Second, the product is getting more and more finance. Okay, we have built-in analytics, we have models, we have things, we have benchmarks. So we're adding on top of the platform and the data, the pure data consolidation capabilities, we're adding more and more financial capabilities that make it an FP&A monster, what we call it. It's specific to the finance.
Incredible. And Didi, 20 minutes go by way too fast to even begin talking about, where the world is going. And I have way too many questions to ask, but I think that at least this 20 minutes gave me a little bit of insight as to the way that you're thinking about, the data as a tool, this question of consolidation, semi-structured data, of course, treating Excel as a thesis, as an operating system, as a core piece of the way that we interact, at least for the time being and for the short and perhaps long-term future within teams. But at the end, this question of planning and what does it take to do planning and where are the different bottlenecks, and perhaps it is not just the ability to ask the smart questions, which I think is part of the underlying assumption here, is that we do have the ability as humans now to ask the right questions, but we do have a challenge in understanding where's the data, how do we consolidate it, and how do we use it so that we can leverage Excel and the current capabilities to answer those questions. And it sounds like you found a really, really cool piece here in this puzzle of how to leverage interesting technology to make this consolidation and to make a positive impact. And so it sounds fantastic. And I really want to thank you for coming here and for sharing with me in these 20 short minutes. It was very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed myself. Thank you. Bye-bye.